guys, we made it. You guys are at first degree brown belt. Next step is black, but there are a couple obstacles that you have to get through. Not only with the material, but there's also physical aspects that you have to be able to pass. And go over those with your instructor, and they'll take you through those guidelines. We're going to get into some scissor kicks today. We're going to go over some high-ranking forms, some high-ranking combinations, everything that you need to get to that black belt. Now, this is your last rank before black belt, so you could be at this rank anywhere from 5 months to a year and a half. Okay, I'm going to hold you there, since Jason will hold you there, until we feel that you're ready to go for that next rank, that we feel that you're ready to represent our school and wear a black belt around that waist. So let's get started, and let's take it with, let's start with our first degree brown belt material.
Okay, the only stance at this rank is actually our bow stance. And believe it or not, there's forward and a reverse. There's actually two stances that we're going to be doing right here. A forward bow stance is just to get a little extra extension when reaching, when doing certain takedowns or certain strikes where we're ripping back. And it's going to be just like this. Get into your fighting stance. I want you to take your front leg and actually extend it forward a little bit more. Keep your right leg where it is. Let it stretch out. Go a little farther. Now what I want you to do is take your front leg and now just bend it a little more. Try not to let your knee go past your foot. Once your knee goes past your foot, you can actually hurt your knee. So extend your leg, get that stretch, okay, from your hamstrings, from your groin area, and just stretch out a little bit. Hands up on guard. You'll notice my toes on my front foot are pointing to the direction I want to go to. My rear leg, my toes, my ankle is going to be turned a little bit, okay? I don't want to turn it in the same direction. I lose my balance, as you can see. I'm going to turn it at a slight angle, okay? That's my forward bow stance. The reverse bow stance, I'm just going to shift my weight back, but I'm going to switch the position of my feet. My front foot now, I'm going to be pointing the blade of my foot, or the heel of my foot even, toward the direction that I'm looking at. My rear leg, I'm going to point my toes back from where I'm going, okay, in the opposite direction. And I'm going to lean and sink back into that stance right from here. And you're going to see that in 5 pinion later on. In fact, there's a part of that form where you're actually going to strike. So after you block, you're going to reach in. You're hitting someone in the groins, my forward bow, and then actually I could be sweeping the person as I pull back. And those are our stances for first degree brown belt, our forward and reverse bow stance. Okay, let's get to our blocks. Now guys, you've been around a while now. You've gone through all the ranks up to your first degree brown belt. By now, I'm sure you've heard your instructors mention how any strike can be a block and any block can be a strike. It just depends how you use it and in what situation you use it in. And that's kind of what we're going to touch on right now at this rank. It's not so much of a system, but more of something you have to think about, okay? Don't get caught up with having to use a number 1 block or number 3 block. Just think of if something's coming towards you, I'm going to do something to prevent myself from getting hit. And a perfect example, let's take a front ball kick, for example. How would I use a front ball kick as actually a block? Well, let's say I'm facing Sensei Ryan, his hands are up on guard, and let's say, you know what, let's have him start coming in with a hook punch, let's say. He comes in, bam! I'm actually going to meet him halfway there. I'm going to kick his arm away. Let's say he starts to come in with a straight punch now. He comes in with a straight punch, I throw a reverse crescent kick. That's a block. Now I follow up with my counter strikes. Let's say now, what's another good strike we could do? Let's take an elbow. An elbow's kind of tough to use an elbow to actually block with. Believe it or not, it's one of my favorites. In fact, if you look at 3 pinion, at that little wing block motion, it works beautifully. So let's say Sensei Ryan is throwing a hook punch right now, and I'm actually going to catch it and bring it right over my head. Let's say he throws it a little bit quicker this time. My hands are up, bam, and I just get right around. I'm in a great spot to hit him now. Let's get to this side. Okay, let's see, what's another great strike we can do? Let's see, Sensei Ryan, let's take a front punch. How am I going to use a front punch to actually block? Well, let's go back to that hook punch now. Or even better, let's say someone's coming in and they're going to throw a backhand at you right now. So he goes to strike with a backhand, bam, and I'm just going to punch his arm before it actually even gets to me. I'm going to aim right by his tricep or his elbow area to just stop that motion. That's considered a block. Am I striking him? Absolutely, but I'm stopping myself from getting hit also. Let's reverse it now. Let's take our set blocking systems and see how we can use them as strikes. Let's take blocking with 3 and 4. All right, 3 and 4 looks like this. The punch comes in, and that's our traditional block. If you remember back at white belt, that's how we started. But now let's say, instead of that happening, I get close, he starts to throw a punch, I actually move out of the way, and now instead of blocking the arm, bam, I come across the side of his head. And that's now a strike. So the more you play around with your strikes, you'll start realizing you can use them as blocks. And that's going to make you a much more well-rounded martial artist when you start to realize the limitations that you had at lower belts, you can now free yourself up a little bit and experiment with those. So what I would like you to do, next time you're in class and you're working on your no-mind attacks, we also call Mushin attacks, try to experiment, what can I use to keep from getting hit? Does it have to be a traditional 1 through 8 block, or my 4-point blocking, or my 10-point blocking, or can I kind of go out of that realm a little bit, experiment a little bit, and see if I can use some strikes to stop somebody with a strike as opposed to just the blocks I was shown. All right, guys, I hope you have fun working on that material. Please be careful, and of course, ask your instructors for a little bit of help. It's not something I can just explain on a couple of minutes or a half hour, an hour on a DVD. It's something you really have to work on, and believe it or not, eventually after working on it, you'll say, oh yeah, I got it. I understand what Sensei Jason was talking about, and now I can kind of move on. All right, guys, I look forward to seeing you on that black belt test coming up soon. We still have a lot more material to go. This is just the blocking for this area. Sensei Ray's going to be getting into some combinations and some other things. Pay attention to some of the blocks he's doing also. See how you can fit some of those blocks and strikes into some of the other things that we were just talking about. Very good job, guys. Okay, let's get to our hand strikes. Now, when we were talking about our blocking systems, we were saying how any strike can be a block and any block can be a strike. Let's take this first hand strike, the heavy hand. The heavy hand, again, is more of a concept more than anything else. What I would like you to do for a second is just get yourself into a pine tree stance and just relax. In fact, I want you to bring your shoulders back and down. All right, and for a moment, you should feel kind of loose. Your hand might feel a little heavy. You might feel your weight drop a little bit. Now, take that feeling and get into a fighting stance for me. Hands up nice and loose. Let your hands even be open right now. And what the heavy hand is I'm going to take my left hand, and I want you to think of throwing a chop right now. Okay, we're going to start with the chop idea, hitting down. But instead of forcing that down, let your arm relax, let your body sink a little bit, and let that all just fall down. Now, when you extend your arm out a little bit into a heavy hand, it's the same idea. Let everything just fall and come down. All right, so let's say now I'm doing more of a palm or a raking motion. When that strike comes in, my hand is going to knock his arm away and also strike at the same time. It's going to feel heavy. All right, if you took any object, held it, and let go, it would drop. That's what you're going to do with your blocks right now, with your heavy hand block right now. Same concept. You're going to add a little muscle to it, a little force to it, but really you're going to just form yourself by relaxing and letting it just drop. So when Sensei Ryan starts to punch in, he's coming with a straight punch. A number 3 or 4 block would come across. Okay? A heavy hand, with my hands are up, he comes in, just lets everything fall. When I start to use it as a strike also, my hand might even reach and actually strike him at the same time. All right? If he's grabbing me, okay, we go into a wrist drop. I can chop his arm, I can nail his arm, or I can simply, bam, let my weight fall. Let everything drop at the same time, and then use my weight to come into the person. Okay, you got to remember, you don't need to be a big person to defend yourself. You don't have to be very muscular. You have to know how to use your weight properly. If you weighed 100 pounds, or if you weighed 90 pounds, and you threw that weight into somebody, it's going to hurt them. If you weighed 100 pounds or 90 pounds and you only used your arm to block or strike with, it's not going to be as effective. So the whole concept of a heavy hand is using your weight properly to drop everything into it. So when the person feels that, it actually hurts them a little bit. It's not just a hard block coming across, it's dropping everything straight down when you do it. All right, let's get to our next strike, which is the dragon flick. The dragon flick is more of a getting the person's attention, kind of warning them more than anything else. And what I would like you to do is, believe it or not, relax your hands, okay? So if your wrist is just going back and forth, that's the idea. That's the kind of motion that you need to strike with, kind of like you're just smacking someone real quick. Take your 2 fingers, put them together, relax your hand, and what I would like you to do is, as you reach out, as your body goes forward, extend, snap, and come back. So it's going to be a very quick whipping motion. All right, and like I said, you're going right to the eyeball on this one. Now, let's say Sensei Ryan is facing me. I'm minding my own business. I'm in a pine tree stance. I'm waiting for the bus. I'm waiting for some of my friends. And all of a sudden, someone comes up to me, and he's just being very confrontational. He's calling me names. He's saying things I don't really like too much. And it gets into a point where I see he's getting ready to throw a punch. Well, instead of me waiting to do a nice hard karate block like 1 through 8, I might actually strike first to just stop everything right there, kind of stop him right in his tracks. So Sensei Ryan gets ready to throw that strike. Bam! There's my dragon flick right to his eye, and I come back. So my hand, just go a little slower, as he pulls back, I reach out, flick to the eye. I might even hit his temple, that's okay. Flick to his eye, I get back on guard. Like I said, it's more of a warning in that situation, more than anything else. Another way to do it is if he actually does throw that strike now. So now he throws that hook punch. I use my block. Now maybe I do the dragon flick just to blind him for a second. If he can't see, he doesn't know how to get to me right now. That leaves options open for me to strike with other targets, to hit him in other areas. All right, so I can use it 1 as a distraction, 2 to blind him. All right, it does hurt. It's not something you want to practice at home. You don't want to do it on mom or dad, on your brother and sister, guys. I know it sounds like a funny strike to just kind of snap out at somebody, but if you just put your arm out, okay, and tighten your arm, take your fingers and just kind of whip your arm a little bit, you'll realize that stings a little bit. So now if all of a sudden you go to someone's eye or someone's throat or someone's temple, you can see how it would hurt a lot more than you really think it would. And that's our dragon flick, and we were also covering our heavy hand that we did earlier. Guys, very good job. Be careful with those strikes. Look forward to seeing you.
All right, let's do our kicks now. The first set of kicks that we have is called a scissor kick. All right, and what is it? It's like the jumping front ball kick where I'm pulling my knees up into my chest and I'm landing. I'm doing that scissoring motion. But when I do it, I'm actually going to throw a back kick at the same time. So if I do it from the side so you can see my legs, I'm actually going to pull my knees up. I'm going to do a back kick with my left leg. I'm going to do a front kick with my right leg. And land strong. So Sensei Ryan comes on up, comes on over. I'm actually going to do a front ball kick, nice and strong. So maybe if I have 2 attackers, maybe somebody grabs me here, boom, I'm fighting 2 guys. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to jump up, and my legs are actually going to scissor. So this leg's going to kick here and land forward. Okay, that's my scissor kick. Okay, our next kick that we're going to have is our jumping, spinning, reverse crescent. Now, if you guys remember the spinning reverse crescent, let's even just start with a reverse crescent. My reverse crescent is going to be just my leg coming from the outside, from the inside out. So it's going to circle to the outside. My spinning reverse crescent that I believe we did in one of the green belt ones is I'm going to spin and bring my heel around. Jumping spinning is like that jumping aerial kick. My knees are going to come up and I'm going to pull my knee nice and high, let that reverse crescent go, and I can give my hand maybe a little target as I'm coming through. So Sensei Ryan grabs a mitt. We're going to put this one nice and high again. So get it right over my head. Wah. Good. So I'm going to look at my target and I'm just going to jump. And then hit through to the bag. Okay, with my jumping, spinning, reverse crescent kick. Now I'm going to go right into my flying side kick. Now the flying side kick was practiced hundreds of years ago. It was to knock warriors off horses. Okay, so you got to get your legs up nice and high, and you have to have them tucked underneath so we can clear the horse and land maybe on the other side, okay? I don't think you're going to be kicking too many people off of horses nowadays, but to practice for tradition, we're going to practice that flying side kick. But I mean, you could use it in a street fight. You see one of your friends maybe getting pounded on, you can come up, run, boom, and throw that flying side kick to get him off. It's a very, very powerful kick because I'm sending all of my body weight straight ahead while I'm in the air. So what I'm going to do is, just to practice this kick, a drill that I can do. Well, let me show one first. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hands up on guard. I'm going to come running nice and strong. Right as I land my right leg, I'm going to pull my legs up. I'm going to throw a flying side kick. Okay, I'm going to jump up nice and high. So my knees are going to come up, and I'm going to push this right leg out. Set, and I'm just going to land nice and strong. That was just a stationary one. I'm going to do it running. A drill that you can do to practice getting that leg up is hold your right leg up nice and high. Left leg's on the ground. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to touch my left hand, my left knee to my left hand from my crane stand. So watch, I'm going to throw my side kick, and I'm just going to bring that other knee up. So right from here, whoa, there we go. I'm just going to do that. I can do like 3 or 4 of them, and just bring that leg up. 1, 2, 3, and just bring that leg up, and just practice bringing that leg up nice and high. Now I'm going to do a running one. So right from here, I'm going to step, I'm going to run up, I'm going to place my feet, throw my flying side kick, and then land forward. do one more time. So coming through, and then landing forward. Very good. Those are our kicks for brown belt first degree.
Last two Kempos, guys. Last two Kempos. We're cooking. We have flying knees and we have snow leopard right now. Okay, these are our two Kempos that we're going to be learning. Let's get right to flying knees, actually. Ready? So let's get into a fighting stance, hands on guard. As the punch comes in, I want you to think of it almost like a surprise. You can simply throw a wing block, right, knocking that hand away, or have both hands kind of come out because you don't know if it's a right hand, a left hand, you don't know if they're grabbing at you, but both hands kind of swing out. Right from here, you might have to take a small shuffle step forward, and I want you to think of clapping your hands together. What you're really doing is you're actually cupping someone's ears. Obviously in class, guys, I don't want you catching everyone's ears. You can't hurt someone. So the way we're going to do it in the air is going to look like this. I block, cup. When I do it on Sensei Ryan in a second, you'll see how I'm going to do it so it's done in a safe way. Right from here, think of grabbing the back of the head, coming with a right knee. Now I'm going to use the right knee because that's my back leg right now. I want my rear leg to come in because there's a lot of force. So I drive into the stomach on the first knee. Bam, that's going to keep him down. Now I'm going to come up with my left knee right to his face. Bam, smashing his face. As I step back, my weight goes back, I'm going to throw him down to the ground, guiding his face to the floor. Now there are other applications for that that I'll let your instructor kind of get into a little bit. As you get into actually degrees of black belt, there are a few different breaks that we could be getting into. But for now, I want you to just think of guiding the person down to the ground, throwing their face down to the ground right from here. So watch when Sensei Ryan punches in. Remember, I was talking about being careful on the ears. So a punch comes in, and bam, both hands come out. Oh, I don't know where that hand came from. I just want to make sure I clear it. Now when I come in, I go slow. I don't really catch his ears. I get near him. Now I'm going to grab the back of his neck. I can lock my fingers in or simply hug around the head. My rear leg's the power knee. Bam! Pulling him into the stomach, striking to the stomach. His head's down now. So now I'm going to keep pulling in and pop up with the other knee right to his face. Now as my leg goes back, my weight's going to go back. That's what I'm going to use to guide him down to the floor right from here. Okay, let's do that again from another angle. So punch starts to come in, I clear whatever is there, I go to cup, make sure you don't hit each other on that, grab the back of the head, let the elbows come in so you have good control over it, pop that right knee up to his stomach, pop the left knee right to his face, and now as that leg goes down, let your whole weight and let your arm drive him down. You're up, he's down, you're safe. Okay, so flying knees. Our second Kempo is snow leopard. And this is actually a very quick Kempo. And it might look very simple, but it has to do on your reaction a little bit. You have to make sure you move kind of quick on this one. Let's do it in the air first. As the punch comes in, I want you to start with that cross block, with that palm block. At the same time, you're going to throw a back fist. At the same time that you do that, you're also going to cross around the person's leg. Now, how much do I cross? It's really going to depend on how much the person actually steps into me. And when Sensei Ryan punches in, you'll see what I mean by that. So ready, punch comes in, I'm going to block, step, strike. 3 things at one time. Now, the hand I just struck with, I'm either going to grab his shoulder, I might grab around his neck. I want to latch onto something so I can pull him into me. As I pull him into me, I'm also going to step around, and I'm going to use my forearm, and that's actually what we use as the snow leopard strike. And we're going to strike with the forearms, driving out. It looks almost like a number 5 or 6 block. And if you remember earlier in the video, I said any block can be a strike, any strike can be a block. There's a perfect example right there. I'm using a number 5 or 6 block to actually strike with to the back of the skull. So Sensei Ryan's going to punch in, snow leopard. He comes in, I block, back fist. That's going to tilt his head a little bit. Now I'm going to grab his shoulder or his neck, pull him toward me. As I pull him toward me, I step around. I'm in a great angle right behind him, and I'm going to drive that forearm to the back of his head, that snow leopard strike to the back of his head. You got to be careful on that shot. It is a devastating shot. Okay, ready? Let's go from another angle. As he comes in, I block back fist right from here. Grab the shoulder or the neck. I step around, pull him toward me. Bam! And there's that snow leopard strike right to the base of his skull. Okay? These are our 2 Kempos. We have our snow leopard, and we also have our flying knees. That covers all your Kempos, guys, now from white belt all the way to first degree brown belt. Make sure you practice them. You have them all now.
Okay, like 3 and 4 pinion, we're going to step out with our bow. Right foot, rolling out the knuckles, pulling in, pressing out with the thrust punch. We're going to do a right palm block, left number 2 block, front 2 knuckle, chop, leopard paw to the throat. Palm block, same thing on the other side, punch, chop, leopard paw. Step forward with the right, X block down, X block up, pull in, front 2 knuckle, front 2 knuckle, step back, back fist, backhand, trap the head, crescent kick, land with a roundhouse elbow, cross stance. Hands above the head, run, jump, land in a cross stance, go to the back, right corner, block punch, forward corner, block, ridge hand, lean into that bow stance, nice and deep, good. Set, now we're going to do that opposite corner. Step forward, ridge, block. Step back into that bow stance. Hand open, backhand closed. Step out with the right foot. Sink. Pull in and finish. Good, we're going to step out with our bow. Right foot out. We're going to roll out our knuckles. Pull our hands in. Double thrust punches. Just like 3 and 4 pinion. Palm block. Number 2 block. Front 2 knuckle chop. Leopard paw. Same thing on the other side. Just opposite. Front 2 knuckle chop. Leopard paw. Step forward that right. Half moon stance. X block up. Front 2 knuckle. Front 2 knuckle. Back fist, backhand, trap the head, crescent, elbow, land, cross step, thrust punch. As we jump to that corner, we block down with the X, step, right block, left punch. Now left cat stance, block with the left, hit with the right, lean back. We turn it again into a left cat stance. Now we just switch our hands, right block, left strike, and lean as we step back. Step back into our horse stance with our right foot. Out and in. And right foot comes in as we bow. Let's get started with our combinations. Our 3 combinations that we have are 14, 15, and 26 combination. And then that's it. You guys, the combinations are done. So then you should have 1 through 26 combination and 28. Okay, those are all the combinations that you need to go for that black belt. So let's start with 14. Let's get into a good fighting stance, Sensei Ryan. Okay, right from here, we're going to do a wing block. Right out, okay? Punch comes in nice and strong. Little baby step out with that left foot to put a little extra power on that wing block. Wing block, right out. Now, we're going to do a jumping front ball kick and a back kick combined. We can do that scissor kick, okay? As somebody's maybe in front of us and we have somebody maybe coming up from behind us, or we can even just thinking of it as making sure that nobody's behind us. I'm just doing that back kick as a clearing kick, okay? So I'm going to jump up nice and high, do a front ball kick, back kick at the same time, and land into my fighting stance. So if Sensei Ryan throws a punch at me, I'm blocked. I make my distance, I feel nice and strong, I just did a good block. I can rest my hand on top of his arm to give myself a little bit of extra balance. I'm going to throw a back kick, ball kick, and land in my fighting stance. That one was to the body. I could also go so much and do it to his face. Punch comes in, block, I could do a snap kick, back kick, okay? Whatever I want my application to be. So I bend those knees and I go nice and high. And I come through, okay? That's our 14 combination. Our next combination is 15 combination. 15 combination. Let's get into a good fighting stance. Has a little bit of the same beginning as our swinging hammer kempo or our tiger raker kempo. We're going to do our crossbody palm block and our back fist. Now, just like in Snow Leopard, so we're going to do our crossbody palm block set, and then we're going to do a knife hand block off to the side. Okay? Sorry, I said back fist before. It's crossbody palm block and a knife hand block. Okay, so we're going to get that motion. Now, as in Snow Leopard Kempo, we cross step as we do that back fist. We're going to cross step as we do that knife hand. Palm block, knife hand, and cross step in front. That's going to take us around to the person's back. We're going to wrap his head, and we're going to pull it into our body. And we're going to sink into our horse stance, making this quadricep like a platform. I'm going to come high, tiger palm down on his face, reach down to his groin, and rake up. Elbow, dropping elbow down on his cheekbone, hammer strike to his solar plex. I'm going to bring my hands high, and I'm going to hit his body right into my leg, or I can even go so much to hit his body or his heart, and back out and let him drop onto the floor. It all depends on the application. When doing this on somebody, I want you guys to really be careful about how we drop them onto the floor. Punch comes in, crossbody palm block, knife hand as I cross step, really turning his body. Now look, I'm around back. I'm going to cross around his head. I'll just turn a little bit so you guys can see a little bit better. And I'm going to pull him into my body and sink to my horse stance. Now look, if I move right now, I'm just going to drop him. Tiger palm down, hitting him in the cheek or in the temple, reaching down, raking up. Elbow to the temple, hammer strike, right on the solar plex. Now I can keep him on my leg and strike and just give him that pressure from my leg, or something wrong, get ready to slap out, or I can hit and drop him down to the floor. Okay? Let's do it from another angle, Sensei. Punch comes in, cross block. Set through, across to the body. Oh, look at this angle that you guys got now. Bam, right across. Tiger palm, elbow hammer. I can hit down or I can drop. Set. 15 combination. Our last combination is 26. One of my favorite combinations. It's a nice dragon combination. So right from here, in brown belt first degree, this is our animal for this rank, is our dragon. Set. So we're going to spin just like a dragon right into our opponent. So right from here, we're going to come up, wing block high, leopard paw. I could either hit to his brachial artery underneath his arm, I could hit to his rib. As that happens, he's going to give me a little bit of pain. I'm going to chop his bicep with my right hand. I'm going to push it out of the way as I step through. Then I'm going to step back with my left foot, side elbow to the body. Palm to the groin. Now get the left hand behind his leg and pick it up. There could be a sweep here. I don't know how hard I sweep that leg up. But actually I'm just going to pick it up enough just to break his leg off the floor. And then I'm going to reach under and tiger rake right out. Okay? Or if I get it nice and high, I could do a chop. Okay? As you guys get a little higher into your black belts, this combination isn't one of our forms and we do a chop in it.